Welcome back to Cyber Distortion, where we cut through the noise and get real about the people shaping cybersecurity today. Today, Kevin and Jason's guest is someone who's making serious waves in the industry, not just for her technical expertise, but for her leadership, vision, and impact. We are thrilled to welcome Gaelle Koanda, a rising force in cybersecurity known for her dedication to empowering others and making meaningful contributions to the field. Gaelle is an advocate for diversity in tech, a leader in cybersecurity awareness and education, and someone who brings both heart and skill to everything she touches. Her work extends beyond just technical excellence. She's committed to building stronger, more inclusive cybersecurity communities. We are especially excited to talk with Gaelle right now because she's been named a finalist for the SANS Difference Maker Award, a prestigious recognition celebrating professionals who are truly moving the needle in cybersecurity. Whether it's through mentorship, outreach, or driving real-world impact, Gaelle exemplifies what it means to be a difference maker.
Welcome to the Cyber Distortion podcast. This is season 4, episode 11. 11, Jason. We're getting close to the end here. We got a good one tonight. This one is called Faith, Fire, and Frameworks with Gaelle Koanda, and we are excited. Before we get into tonight's discussion, I want to first, as we always do, thank our sponsors, ThreatLocker, Alacronet, Fulcrum Technologies, and CypherNova.ai, one of our newest sponsors. So thank you all for what you do. We couldn't do this without you. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so let's jump into this. Today's guest is a true force in cybersecurity governance and leadership. She's a global voice for resilience, inclusion, and innovation. Her story is as inspiring as it is impactful. We are thrilled to welcome Gaelle Koanda tonight, a cybersecurity and GRC powerhouse. She's an ISACA Board Member, an AI ethics advocate, an entrepreneur, and a nonprofit leader. She's the founder and president of the very first WiCyS chapters in Francophone Africa. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right, Gaelle?
Yes, in 2 different countries in Africa, Francophone, French-speaking country, Ivory Coast and Burkina Faso.
Okay. So I had to look this up. And Francophone Africa refers to the region in Africa, the African states that were formerly French and Belgian colonies and now use French as an official or widely spoken language. So I'm learning as we go today. When we prepare for this episode, I'm like, okay, what is this Francophone? I got to look that up. So that's cool.
You and me both, Kevin. You and me both.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's cool. That's cool. So in addition to all that, she currently serves as the SheLeadsTech Ambassador for Colorado. Gaelle is building bridges across continents, obviously, and empowering women in tech at every step. She is a global voice helping to empower and recruit new talent into our industry. And for that, we thank you. We need all the talent we can get in this industry for sure. Thank you for that. And before we get into your story or get into the questions here, Jason, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can welcome Gaelle to the podcast.
For sure, Kevin. For sure. Look, Gaelle's career is like a masterclass, and I'm saying a masterclass in purpose-driven leadership. If you just take in the things that Kevin just expressed in all of the events that she participates in, leads, organizes, manages, founds, structures, whatever it is, she is taking charge in the world of cybersecurity.
For sure.
And oh man, you can't say enough about what she is doing to make an impact. I mean, we've already said a lot, but her insights in cybersecurity risk and governance, her mission to uplift others through community advocacy and bold action, that is important. That's what we're about. That's what we like to do. We're all about those things. You will hear the word community over and over and over again from us because we believe cybersecurity is all about community, sharing, growing, learning, improving, supporting, all of those things to help each other and help us all become better at what we do. And so for that, I got to tell you, super impressed. Love what you're doing. 1,000 thumbs up. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, great job.
It's like if we could throw the little hearts on the screen, we're just going to start going. The hearts are floating up right now, guys. So just so you know, in the likes.
Yeah, I will tell you this though. Even despite all of that stuff, we have gotten some great news this week.
Yeah, great news.
Gaelle has just found out that she is a finalist, not a nominee, Kevin.
Yeah, finalist.
A finalist in the SANS Different Maker Award for Community Champion of the Year. So, hey, good luck. We're wishing you all the best. That's a great privilege to be a part of. We have several friends who have been a part of the SANS Different Maker Awards. We have a colleague right now, close friend, who is also a finalist in a different category.
And we voted for both of you already this week. We have already voted.
We have, yeah. We had a finalist that won, a colleague that won last year in his category. So great news. We're rooting for you. And with that,
thank you so much.
Yeah, with that, Gaelle, I want to just turn it over to you for a little bit to share with our audience a little bit more about yourself. Tell them, about how you got started in cyber and what drew you on this journey.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin and Jason. It's truly an honor to be here. I've listened to you guys before, and I love how you balance technical insight with community and storytelling. So I'm excited to share my journey with you. How did I start? I'm originally from West Africa, Burkina Faso. I moved to the US back in 2008 on a student visa. And my dad is a chemical engineer. So when I was coming to the US, I wanted to become a civil engineer. So I landed to in Atlanta. And I was supposed to go to Georgia Tech, but out of state tuition was close to $22,000 a semester.
Ooh.
So I went to a community college, Georgia Perimeter College, and I did business. That was what all international students were doing at that time. And then I transferred to Georgia State. I got a scholarship. And since Georgia State University was not like an engineer school, but a business school, I studied finance and actuarial science. So after graduating, I got a job at the Federal Reserve Bank, but the money was very low. So I was like, is that the American dream? Where at least there's some money. And then during tax season, I will work with a CPA firm part-time and all. And I wanted to go back to school. I even thought of going to medical school, but it was going to be very expensive. And since I was doing finance and auditing, I heard about IT auditing.
Ah.
And then went back to school for a master in information system audit and control. And back in 2016, I still did not know what was cybersecurity, to be honest. I just was looking for a job that can pay my bill and help me save, live the American dream. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Nice.
And and then my first job was becoming a IT consultant. It was a fiasco. And then I kept going between IT auditing, and I finally landed a job as a GRC at Western Union.
Oh.
And I fell in love with it. And then noticed that there was not a lot of women in my field.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of people that looked like me, like Black, female with an accent, and I like challenges. So I remember that when I was doing my master, one of the class was was to take the CISA, like the CISA certification. And I heard about ISACA when I was doing my master because it was required. One of the class for the CISA, one of the requirements was to become the ISACA member, but as a student, it was free. So I became an ISACA member back in 2016, but it was in Atlanta, but my job was in Colorado. So when I moved to Colorado and I started working at Western Union, like few years after, I'm like, hey, it's really hard. And I was like, oh my God, let me try to see if there's an ISACA in Colorado, and I find ISACA, and I joined ISACA Colorado, I feel in 2021. And I was still doing my GRC and I was like in love, but I was just trying to see how I can do like other stuff in cybersecurity since there was not a lot of us. And the more I see that there was not a lot of us, I just wanted to do it. And I fell in love with it because cybersecurity is not boring. It's so innovative.
Oh, no.
And then I love changes. So this is how I started with cybersecurity.
So that's an amazing story because it's a journey, right? And that was a very descriptive journey of from the moment you came here, searching for what you wanted to achieve, not quite knowing, just did what you thought you needed to do, go to school, try to, get an education so that you can start making some money and live the American dream. And then you start making some money and you're like, this isn't the money that was in the American dream I had. There's something missing here. Yeah. And then you're like, there's more money somewhere. I better dream bigger. And so you kept going and dreaming bigger and making it happen and getting further and further and further. And what I like about that story is that story, the progression of that story is exactly the same progression of success. It's setting your sights on something, going out and getting it, exploring it, learning, understanding it, deciding if this is what you want to do, finding what you want to do, falling in love with it, and then running away, making sure it is the thing that you really make a statement in. And that's what it sounds like you've been doing. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's great. That was a good story.
Well, and the key thing she said is that she loves it, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yes, I love it. It taught me that cybersecurity is also about community impact.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just about technology. It was to hold the trust, the resilience,
Well, you also mentioned joining ISACA and going for the CISA, which was part of your requirement to get your ultimately get your to graduate. And I like that because Jason and I have both kind of gone through that journey ourselves, and we know what it takes to get those certifications. We've both gone out and chased and pursued the CISSP, and we know the commitment and sacrifices that you have to make with your time and, giving up time with your family to do that. It's no easy task, even if you've got some history in working in this industry. You can't just run out and pass that exam. You've got to really buckle down and study. And I did that one, but before I did that one, I did the CISM, which is also ISACA. So
Yeah.
I've been an ISACA member as well for a while. So I'm kind of curious your viewpoint on certifications in general and the value you put in certifications, because I know I put a lot of value in them. So I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Certification are not magic, but they create structure. For me, they bring credibility and give me the tool to speak the same language. Like if I'm speaking with someone that is very technical, or if I'm executive or regulator. And then for me, someone that has a certification means that this person show commitment, because you just don't go pay and pass. You have to study,
Right.
you know. So it's just remind me that people if I see someone that has like a CISA or like a CISM or CISSP on his resume, it's just like it remind me that they invest in themselves. They are curious. They want to learn. They don't just graduate from school. They keep learning, because having the CISA, you can pass the CISA, right? But to maintain, not to
Right. You're always learning.
your CPEs, right? So how do you get your CPEs? By going to like events where they talk about what's going on, why they talk about technology, you know. So for me, I really
So you're bringing up good points there, because and as Kevin was saying his part too, it reminded me of something. We talk about these things, and we talk about it because we know what it takes to do it, because we've gone through it. The challenge, I think, that I think is there, is that the audience doesn't always know how much work is involved in obtaining some of these certifications. So to your point, when it shows dedication and commitment and the desire to learn, we know what that means because we went through it. We've done it, and we know how much dedication and commitment and desire to learn is required in order to achieve that certification. But for those who have not gone through it, they may not know the struggles and the challenges and the late nights and the months and away from all of your family events, because it is so important for you to understand and learn and achieve this certification to get to the next level. That is a sacrifice that you put in to achieve. And so there is that misperception of, oh, it's a certification, you know what you're talking about, you probably just went in and took the test, and as opposed to, it's a certification. Wow, this person put 1,000 hours plus in studying for months to figure out how to learn enough content to pass the certification.
Well, and
then use it.
And to Gaelle's point about continued learning, is it's not just the 1,000 hours. That's a huge part of it. Yes, that's your initial commitment. But to her point, it almost forces you into this position after you've gotten it to network and to be plugged in and to be engaged and to drive that community forward, because all of these governing bodies that control these certifications, they're very big on networking, very big on being plugged in. So that's a great point.
Oh, wow. I'm
so
sorry.
Gaelle, I have a question for you.
Yes, Jason.
You are a governance expert, and let's take this topic down that road a little bit. So if we talk about governance, how do you approach building a cybersecurity governance framework for an organization? Like, what are the key things you feel you must have in a cybersecurity governance framework, and what that typically might be overlooked?
Okay. Clarity. Everything starts with clarity when you're building a governance framework. To me, like, what is like your organization mission, like its appetite, priorities, a framework has to align with that. And if people don't feel ownership of security, even the best framework become like an exercise. Governance is really about embedding security into decision making and culture, not just policies. That's how I see it, because not just writing the policy, making sure that whatever you put in place goes with what you put, what are your priorities,
Yeah. So you're saying you create a framework and you go in and you're like, okay, guys, I did the homework. I created a framework. Let's go. No. And they're going to be like, and what do we do next? What do we do with this? You actually got to go out and lead it. You got to say, hey, this is a framework. This framework is based on the conversations we've had, that you have all identified what the highest level priorities are, what our risk appetite is. You all have agreed to own this framework and own the information that we're using and sharing and putting into this framework to identify if something is out of our governance acceptability or within our governance acceptability.
Go ahead.
So then you're like, so that's what this means. Are you guys willing to accept it? And then the story changes and I'm like, I didn't know I had to also accept it.
And also, is it doable? Is it feasible in our environment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not because company X is doing it, that company Z should be doing it,
Yeah.
Making sure that employees are aware of what we're doing. The input also matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and they all have to buy into it just as equally. The executive level has to support it. So if it's not pushed down from the top, they're not going to buy in, and they're not going to help you so that you can support the business needs. And when you said risk appetite, that's going to drive your budget. That's going to drive, the level that you want to mature each control, whether or not a control applies in your particular case. It drives everything. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. What about qualities in leadership, Gaelle? I'm curious. When you're building a security team, let's say we're going to build a security team to support that framework. Now we know the risk appetite. We've got our framework selected. Now you're going to build your security team. What skills do you look for most in your security staff, and how do you rank like tech skills versus certifications or degrees or soft skills? Where does all that land with you?
In it, tech skill can be taught. What we cannot teach is soft skills. So I always tell people that anyone can come in GRC if you're willing to learn, even if you don't have a college degree.
Even without soft skills, or are you saying?
No, if you do not have a college degree.
Okay.
If you're willing to learn the framework, be patient. Work under pressure.
That's a big one.
But you better have some soft skills. You better be able to communicate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. If something, you know what I mean? If your organization is going, for example, to lose its contract because we are not, for example, CMMC certified or ITRA
SOC 2
certified,
compliant or whatever.
Don't stress.
Yeah.
Just breathe, do the work. So if I'm looking for a teammate, I'm looking for someone that can manage stress. It's very important because my work, I love my work, but sometimes it can be stressful.
Yeah. Sure.
Well,
absolutely. It's in cybersecurity.
Yes. Even as a leader, as a contributor, you have to have these skills,
I think I got immune to stress the second time I took the CISSP exam. I was like, if this thing doesn't kill me, nothing can kill me. Because that thing right there, the level of stress you go through when you're sitting in that exam room is just immense, right, Jason?
I don't know. You just said something that I hadn't thought of before. Now I'm going to be looking for it. So, do you think that this is a sidebar question? Do you think that if you did a survey of cybersecurity professionals, that the overwhelming majority of cybersecurity professionals are patient people? And the reason why I'm asking that question is because of what she just said about stress.
Sorry, patience is. It's funny that you said that because patience is not my greatest strength.
Well, see, there you go. You just skewed the entire research. So, meaning that you might not be a patient person, but you can manage stress very well.
Yes, I think I work well under stress.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think you almost have to be in IT or to be in security for sure. You have to work well under stressful.
And I'm not patient.
Yeah.
So two different things, right? You might not be patient. You might not be patient. It may not apply, but you darn well better be able to handle a lot of stress coming your way.
Yeah, you do need to have that. But, you also need to have thick skin. And I think that helps. And I think you build that along the way. If you're going through and taking the steps it takes to get into this industry, and if you're going to pursue any kind of certifications whatsoever, you're going to get thick skin by default. I think you will.
Yeah, you know what we used to say? We used to say every time someone would bring something up to me like that, I'm like, quack. And they're like, what quack? What are you talking about? I'm like, dude, just quack it off like a duck. Let it roll off your back like water rolls off a duck's back. Just let it roll, right? Don't let it get to you, man.
I've never heard you say that one, man.
Well, now you know.
Wow.
You just haven't been a part of my inner circle. My inner circle knows.
I guess so. That's good.
All right. Well, Gaelle, I've got another one. So, what interested you in joining ISACA? And, what was the thing that really drove you to say, other than, hey, I signed up, I had to take this course, and I was made to join and be a member. Even so, you're still a member. So
I shared that before. I first joined ISACA when I was doing my master because it was a requirement. One of the class was for the CISA exam period, and then after that was in Atlanta. When I moved to Colorado and I started working at Western Union, and I noticed that cybersecurity is honestly our industry sometimes is after 1 or 2 years you will start to see that. I'm like, oh, this organization, what's the name again? ISACA. I Googled. I went on LinkedIn and reached out to one guy that was part of ISACA Colorado. I reached out to another person, and I went to the event. I did not enjoy. I hated it. 2021 or 2022. And then I was like, And then, my best friends, all my friends in Colorado, 95% of them are white. But I did not like the fact that when I went to ISACA Colorado event, I did not see someone like me, and it was kind of odd, and I was like, no. And I went back, and then I went home. I started emailing the board member, hey, I would like to volunteer with you guys.
So, Gaelle, I got another question for you. And this one hits kind of to the core of a few things. Kevin talked earlier about your involvement in women in cyber. And really, my question is around what do you consider your biggest challenges that you face in that mission of women in cyber?
Oh, you stumped her.
I know.
That must have been a good
take a deep
one.
breath before she answers it because she's managing the stress.
The biggest challenge is women are not supportive of each other. Because why don't we have men in cyber? we've been talking about women in cyber, but the number is still low. Why? And I mean, I was on a panel. I'm like, why is that? I noticed that when a woman is like at the top, the first people below her are men's. I love men's. Don't get me wrong. Why is that? You know, I feel like this is one of my biggest challenge. I feel like we should be more supportive. Yeah, this is one of the biggest challenge. And when we talk about the second one is like people will think that you are like feminist. I'm not a feminist at all. I know that in my head, men and women are not equal. But I just want to see more women in my field, you know.
Yeah, and we Jason and I have been saying that for a long time now. It's like, you know, what do we do to attract more females into this industry and more young people into this industry in general? And what is it that seems to be deterring them from wanting to join? It doesn't make sense to me. It's an interesting field. It's a fun field. It's challenging.
It's society, man. It's society.
Because
society
the number is
deters
still
everybody
low,
where
like
they go.
20%.
Yeah.
It's globally, it's still low, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I love it. I would love to see more women, young. Like when I see a girl that is studying data science, computer science, cybersecurity, it just makes me happy. Because
here's my
coming
take
from
on that.
Africa. Mm-hmm.
My take on that is I've been in the deepest, darkest trenches fighting cyber crime. I've been there. I've done that. I've combated hackers one-on-one. And when going back and being in that mode, it doesn't matter if you have a guy on your side or woman on your side. I need good people. I need people that can help me solve this problem. And I don't care where they come from. I just need good minds that can participate with me in a hive kind of a scenario so that we can solve complex problems. And that by itself should be a great invitation for women that say, I can fill that role. I can be that mind that can support you. I've had that. Now, I can't, obviously, as a male, I can't be, I mean, I am a male, right? So I can't take that away. But what I can do is say, you know, I want to work with whoever can come to the table and support me with their mind to solve complex problems.
Yeah. And then then I read somewhere, I'm not sure where. I read that teams that has like in cybersecurity, teams that have like women in the team, people that have women in the team are more successful than team who do not have women in the team.
I can totally see that. I can absolutely see that and agree with you, because I think about where I would be if I didn't have my wife to do all the things that she does so much better than me. And Jason's met my wife. He knows. I mean, she thinks so much more left brain and logically than I do. I'm a right brain thinker. She is not
because
absolutely
she's a woman.
not.
That's just because she's an opposite of you. Like your wife and me think more like, and you think more like my wife does.
Oh, do I?
That's 100% true. We talk about that all the time.
Well,
my wife and I always talk about
so
that.
If you think about that, okay, so you hit the nail on the head right there. And I think that's where we're driving this is the more diversity you have within your team, regardless of sex, regardless of any of that, the better off you're going to be, because that team is going to be thinking more diverse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're already a pioneer in this area. You're obviously joining these boards. You joined ISACA for this reason. You saw a problem. Now you're trying to fix it. And I got to ask, so in your day-to-day, as you're building community and as you're doing outreach and you're trying to recruit more people and more women into this industry, what does that look like? I mean, like you wake up, Gaelle rolls out of bed. What is your day? If you had the perfect day, how would you define that?
Hey, the perfect day.
I know one thing. Becoming a Sans difference maker finalist would help. That would make for an awesome day,
You
right?
know, the excitement. Like, for example, yesterday, getting a text from that girl telling me that because of me, she's like her childhood whole dream is becoming coming to like reality. I never met her.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
don't know her,
awesome.
you know. So
Yeah.
this is like one of my happy day. Waking up and getting this text before going to work, you know, it made me wanted to do more,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know. Um, um, yeah, doing my work very well too. Getting kudos for my work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm, yeah, getting sponsoring my events, having like a sold out event, either ISACA or WiCyS, you know. Um, yeah, this is the perfect day because like when I wake up, usually I wake up at 5 a.m. I pray, I start working, then I get my son ready. No, you don't want to go to that. Sorry, cop.
It all kind of goes back to the original thing we were saying, community.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, my perfect day is getting texts like, oh, Gaelle, I get the job. Oh my God, thank you for inviting me for this event. I met that person and then, oh, you guys kept in touch. Oh, Gaelle, this girl that I met at your event is having coffee with me. You know, this makes me happy. It
Yeah.
fills my
Yeah. But what you're saying is it's accomplishments. It's doing things that later you find out actually made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It actually did something, right? And that's a great feeling to have.
Like, let me tell you, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Last week, we had an ISACA event, and then I had to go to another event, not ISACA. One of my sponsors was having an event, automation. And after the event, I hate driving. So I ordered my Uber. So the Uber came and he was a guy, but the car was not matching the car and he's like, it's me. I'm sorry. It's Uber. I updated my car. And I'm like, I don't want to enter your car. And he's like, let me show you your ID. So I took a picture of his driver license and I sent it to my friend and I entered the car. And I'm chatty. I'm like, how are you? Are you doing this full time? No, I was laid off 2 weeks ago. Oh, really? Where were you working? He said Empower. I'm like, really? Oh, I will pray that you get a job. What? You said you were director of what? And it's like, oh, I'm interviewing with X. He said X. I don't want to give you the name of the organization. It's here in Denver. It's a cybersecurity. I'm like, really? Yeah. Oh, I met the CIO and the CISO at a Ghana event.
Oh, really?
LinkedIn. He's like, really? Please take my number, take my this. I'm like, okay. So by the time when he dropped me, I went on my LinkedIn and I reached out to the CISO. I said, hey, it was lovely seeing you like 3 days ago. Actually, I just took an Uber and my Uber driver is interviewing for the director position that you have open. And he's a nice guy. And they emailed me back. They said, thank you so much for doing that. And guess what? They gave him a second chance and he's interviewing with them this week.
Oh, nice.
Wow,
that's cool. That's awesome.
For the Uber driver you didn't want to ride with.
Yeah, he's like, man, that was the best ride ever. I don't care what else happened.
Even his wife or girlfriend sent me a request on LinkedIn.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's so awesome.
Well, guys, I think we started getting a lot in there. Let's take a quick break and come back and jump into our second segment.
Cool. Let's do it.
Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Imagine taking a proactive, deny by default approach to cybersecurity, blocking every action, process, and user unless specifically authorized by your team. ThreatLocker helps you do this and provides a full audit of every action, allowed or blocked, for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based support team. Stop the exploitation of trusted applications within your organization to keep you running efficiently and secure, protected from ransomware. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. To learn more about how ThreatLocker can mitigate unknown threats and ensure compliance for your organization, visit threatlocker.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, we want to thank our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them. We love them.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you, everyone, for being a part of this great podcast. And so we're back here, and we're going to ask Gaelle a couple of quick rapid-fire questions to get this conversation spiced
Get
up.
the juices flowing here. Here we go.
All right. So, Gaelle, here's how it works. I'm going to ask you 3 questions as quickly as possible. You are to answer them as quickly as possible with the first thing that comes to mind. Doesn't have to be a big statement. It just has to be a chicken, right? Or, oh yeah, it's a bird, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Whatever the answer is, first thing comes to mind, that's what you want to say. Ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What's the best cybersecurity advice you've ever received?
Security is a journey. Don't chase perfection.
Ooh, I like that one. All right.
She was ready for that too. I like
the
it.
worst cybersecurity myth you have heard on a regular basis?
The word, sorry, can you repeat?
What's the worst cybersecurity myth you have heard on a regular basis?
Compliance equals security.
Compliancy equals security? Is
security.
That what? Okay.
Yeah, compliance equals security.
Yeah, we all know that's not true.
Secure. Yeah.
All right, last one. A lesson you learned the hard way, maybe a project or an incident that didn't go as planned, and what you took from it.
Once underestimated the importance of user training in a project.
User training.
The tech was flawless, and it failed. It taught me that people are the first line of defense.
Yes,
they are.
Absolutely, they are.
First and the last, I like to say.
First and the last. Okay.
All right, I've got one for you, Gaelle. So let's change the direction just a bit here, and I want to understand from your perspective, what do you see is the biggest cybersecurity risk that organizations underestimate today?
Third-party exposure, like most of the breach right now are through because of third parties. So organization assume that vendor has strong security. Like once the vendor has like the like piece of paper that they compliant, organization assume that they are strong, but you see that supply chain attacks proof otherwise, right? One week can compromise the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
So have a good third party risk process in place. Okay.
Now, Kevin, if there was 30 parties down
30 party risks. Yes.
30 party.
That's a heck of a party, man. You got 30 of them.
No, that's not a party I want to be a part of, man. Can you imagine doing all of those things? Third-party risk assessments.
Third-party risk assessments are not fun, but they are necessary.
Oh, that's like a colonoscopy having doing a third-party risk assessment.
And that's a good analogy there, buddy. Oh my gosh.
All right. So okay. So when an incident happens, Gaelle, what's your playbook? Like, what are the key things? Really, what we're looking for is what are the key things every organization should have in place for a strong playbook in their response?
Preparation is everything. Know your role, practice your tabletop exercise, and establish a clear communication channel. Because during an incident, speed without clarity creates chaos. know who do I report to, who should I call? What if this person is not here?
Yeah.
That's why practicing tabletop exercise is very important. It's crucial.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to tell Kevin this a lot.
Uh-huh.
I like to enforce practice how you plan to play
Yes.
in real time. So when an incident happens, you only know how you're going to execute that incident if you've practiced many
Mm-hmm.
times before how you would handle an incident like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would run tabletop exercises on the
Mm-hmm.
regular. Like once a month, we had a unique tabletop exercise that I
Mm-hmm.
constructed that we would run with the organization just to test different parts of the organization
Mm-hmm.
and how they would respond to something
Mm-hmm.
happening. And it would be random. And then the incident would be a random write-up of something happening. And every time everyone thought they knew how to resolve it, right? How they knew how to navigate through it. We would find at least one thing, many times multiple things that would go wrong. And this was a safe environment. Multiple things that would go wrong that we need to correct.
Yeah,
In a
same.
safe environment.
Every
So
time we do it, we always find something.
Yeah, think about doing that at the time that it happens and you're not ready for it, man. All kinds of chaos could be happening.
Yeah. You want to build that mental muscle memory for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we kind of hit on this third-party supply chain risk and how we approach it. Are there any frameworks that you prefer for dealing with third-party risk, or are there any third-party risk procedures that you prefer or that you recommend?
I mean, because of my role right now, I rely on framework like NIST 800-171 CMMC, and I push for continuous due diligence, not just a one-time vendor questionnaire, but you trust but you verify. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and build those controls out to where you can mature them. Yeah, it makes sense. I like that. I kind of when you're small to medium sized business, there's another framework out there that's built on NIST called the CIS Top 18. I feel like that's a really good place to start if you're new to frameworks because it's pretty broad. It covers all the areas and it's kind of a grow at your own pace type framework, which I like. And it can set you up for
CIS. You got to know what. I mean, the missing ingredient with all of these is you got to know what a framework is and when to use a framework, and even how to use it. Right? You have to know those parts, and then you can apply whatever.
Like I always say that, just like instead of using even the term framework, like you said, like the guideline. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. It is a guideline. That's really all it is.
Yeah, but it's an important guideline, and it's important based on things like what is your risk appetite, right? So your risk appetite is going to be different than mine. So if you're using a framework that I built that says it's designed around a certain risk appetite that doesn't meet yours, it's the wrong framework.
Yeah,
you have to have a framework that meets your objectives. So those are the nuances behind frameworks and how to use them. But you're right, 100%. There are guidelines that you can use to build out what will work for you and your organization.
Yeah.
So, all right. So with remote work and hybrid setups, now everywhere, we do this all over the place. How have you adapted policies regarding, the culture or monitoring usage and behaviors to ensure that security doesn't lag behind what activities you're seeing?
I mean, to me, it's about culture as much as technology. We move from perimeter defense to identify and zero trust, correct? But the biggest shift was training team to bridge security habits in their daily routine. So it comes back to people.
It always does, doesn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, you said it earlier, they're the last line of defense. They're the first line of defense. I mean, in the end, email threats are still probably the biggest threat to any company that there is. And if you train your employees well on what those threats look like and how to deal with them, and even non-email based threats that are going to arise as the result of some sort of social engineering event, they need to feel like a safe space to be able to report that, and they're not going to get their hands slapped, right? I think you got to build that culture of not just awareness, but that culture of communication.
Well, here's an interesting challenge, thinking about the same question and what we were just talking about. I think, because I faced this during COVID. When COVID came online, and we were all faced to have to make decisions on how do we continue to operate businesses in a secure way. And we were starting to move to this remote work, 100% remote work model. The backlash of doing that resulted in now, hey, guess what? I can do my job 100% remote. I don't need to come into the office anymore. So why are you making me come into the office? So then we had to compromise, right? And so everyone's compromising. Well, this is going to be hybrid work. We need you in the office certain days so that we can communicate face to face. The rest of the time you can do remote. Well, then it becomes, okay, and here's where the security crossover comes in at. Okay, well, if I can work remote at home, all I need is an internet connection. Why couldn't I work remote from the beach, right? I just need an internet connection. And now you have employees who are going into foreign, tropical destinations, and you have to address why that doesn't work. And then it becomes a security issue, because now security is stepping in and saying, okay, when you're working at home, I know you're from an approved location that has already been vetted out and clear, right? Now that you go to some other location, not only do I not know that you're in that location because you didn't tell me you were going to be in a different location, and my systems are detecting activity connecting into my network from a location that is not on an approved list, and now I got to deal with it, right? Or you're in that, and I have to vet that your controls that you are using are adequate enough that doesn't create a security issue on our network because you're working somewhere else. Are you using a VPN like you're supposed to be using? Maybe you forgot to do that this one time, right? So the security implications grow as a result of the fact that we had to do this remote work or this hybrid work, and that it can be done from multiple locations, and that the company higher ups are trying to accommodate people where they are, and it becomes now a security issue for you have to deal with.
Yeah, it really accelerated our need to go out and learn how to secure the remote workforce, like on steroids. I mean, And if you had remote workers at the time, and we all probably did, it wasn't until COVID that you realized you can actually do this securely. Because in my opinion, it's a miracle that we didn't hear more about large organizations getting breached during that time. And we heard about some.
Yeah.
But it's a miracle we didn't hear about it every day.
That's true. You made a point.
Yeah, because so many things changing at that pace, it's not a good recipe for success, for sure. Well, so I want to jump ahead. I got a question here, Gaelle. I like to ask security professionals because we're always challenged to prove our own success. So how do you measure success in security beyond, okay, we've never been breached? What metrics or KPIs do you usually look to show that your program is successful?
Yeah, we talk about that often, Kevin. Like, what are the right KPIs to be monitoring?
Yeah, I mean, you're always looking for ways to justify your existence, right? Not literally, but we work hard to protect our environments. And it's hard to talk about the success when nothing's happening. So, what metrics can we show?
I like leading indicator, not just lagging ones. For example, phishing click rate going down.
Mm-hmm. That's a
You
good
know,
one. That's a great one.
policy adoption going up.
Mm-hmm.
List register item being closed.
Hmm.
Those are the things like that tell me that the culture is shifting, not just that we are that not just that we avoiding breach, that we did not get a breach, but it like the phishing click rate is going down, meaning that people are doing the training, they understand, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
getting it.
For license, yeah, you know what I mean? The register item, we keep closing them one by one. It means that something is working, so we are successful. This is
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll add one to that. It's not just the click rate that's going down, but it's the reporting rate going up. They're
yeah,
reporting those phishing
yes,
emails.
yeah.
Those are good ones. Yeah.
That's a challenge for me, that last one, Kevin. I'll tell you why. And everyone does it. So
Mhm.
so I get it, right? And I get the value of the reporting rate.
Mhm.
Here's the challenge with the reporting rate. And this is more of a personal statement than anything. As a practitioner,
Mhm.
I have trained myself to ignore what I believe is an attempt to get my activity, right? So seeing an email and being able to identify without opening the email in the header or what is showing up in the
Preview
summary of an
panes.
email, in the
Yeah.
preview, right? Being able to see in the summary and identify it early enough where I do not need to open it,
Mm-hmm.
because opening it then is another layer. I do not need to open it to explore it even further. I can dismiss it and move on.
Well,
And
I'll say this to that point, and I agree with you, because a lot of times you can just train yourself to say, look, if I see enough of the red flags in the preview pane or I see them in the headers,
Yeah.
I don't see a need to open it. Typically, a good enough software package for these kinds of, whether it be campaign phishing training or whether it be a real email coming through and landing in your inbox.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these solutions offer you the ability to right click on the email and report it without ever opening it or hitting a button on your toolbar, on your ribbon that says report. As long as that happens to be the highlighted email in your inbox, it can be reported without ever having opened it. And that is much safer.
That is 100%. That is. And that's kind of where I fall, is that when I can do that, I'm fine with reporting.
Yeah. I get that.
When it requires me, and this is a training issue.
Mm-hmm.
Most people have not been trained to the degree where they can identify it like that in a preview pane.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they open it, they start reading through it, they're looking they're interacting with it, which is not what you want to do. You do not
They
want
get
your
that.
people interacting with it.
They get those
Because
feels.
the more they interact with it, the more they've been drawn in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just want them to be don't read it, just look for the signs first. And
Yeah.
then if it's clean, then you can read it.
That makes sense.
So, all right. So here's one for you. So if you're consulting with a mid-sized company with limited resources, what would be your first 3 things you'd recommend to improve the security posture?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like that
I feel like I'm taking a test.
one.
Well, it's an easy test. It's all opinion. It's all opinion.
This is your day. This is your day to day. This one's a cakewalk for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Security awareness training is mandatory.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Identity and access management. Backup and tested incident response, like tabletop.
That's
access.
good. I like all 3 of
All
those.
3 of those
all
are
good.
great.
Yeah.
Identity
100%.
and access, you would include MFA in that too, right?
Mhm. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree
I'd
with
be
those
like,
3.
what, you guys don't have MFA? How do you not have MFA in this day and age? Dude, you better get you some MFA and get you a password vault. And guess what? We're going to train you on with some KnowBe4. And by the time we're all done with this, we're going to make sure that everything you have in place right now, you can pull it back up and restore it. How about that?
Yeah. All right, here's a good one. Here's a good one with AI and everything else that's going on out there right now. I'm curious your opinion on this one. So
But
if you're looking ahead 3 to 5 years from right now today, what are the things that excite you the most, and what are the things that scare the crap out of you the most?
AI excites me and scares me at the same time.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm excited about AI, but I'm scared of the challenges. I'm not scared that AI is gonna take my job. All I
Yeah,
know for sure,
good.
AI is
I'm
going
not
to
either. I
AI
agree.
is going to take the job of the people who are refusing to use AI, to learn AI.
Boom. There
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
That's
Totally agree.
100% what Kevin and I keep saying.
The
Yep.
leaders who thrive will be the one who embrace innovation while building ethical guidelines. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I think that AI can democratize security. You know, I know that it also expand attack surface, but we also have to use AI to define our, like, use AI to define our organization. Make
Mhm.
sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have to
Yeah.
start learning AI. Oh, what you doing behind me? Do you see him?
Yeah.
No, we don't see anybody there.
I'm sorry, it's not working. I don't want to be fired. Your tablet, daddy. Okay, just go take a book. I'm coming, okay? Oh, watch TV. You can watch TV if you. Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's
Yeah.
funny. That's hilarious. And listeners, that's what happens when you do live podcasts.
Yeah.
That's
right.
that's awesome.
But your points are all good, right? And that's something Kevin and I keep saying over and over and over again about AI. And those who use it, those are the ones who are going to be ahead of the crowd. They're going to be the leaders. They're going to understand how to do it, and they're going to get ahead. Those who are not using it are the ones that are going to fall behind and really start to worry about what they can do next, and how, where's their career routing to. Kevin and I did a show earlier this week where we talked about cybersecurity risks associated with AI. And as we were preparing for this, one of the things that stood out for me, I since Kevin asked AI to give me a good comparison of this, but it was, I've been working with AI for several years, many years now, over several. And the pattern had been to compare it to other disruptive technologies like the internet.
Mm-hmm.
As we were preparing for this, it actually dawned on me this week, and this is important from a cybersecurity standpoint, that it does compare to the internet 100%, but it actually, even more so, the current state of AI and the work that we're doing with AI is more in alignment with operating systems. And when big operating systems start to become commercialized, so Windows and Mac OS and those operating systems, and people, it was the equivalent of saying, hey, or even let's go back to the IBM era, and we said, hey, IBM created these big mainframes. What was the key behind these big mainframes? They had these resources: compute, they had storage, they had memory, these primary resources. And guess what? We can take these resources and we can make them work for you, to give you value, to provide you efficiencies. It just requires you to put in this big old mainframe into your business in order to do it. And people struggled, but they started doing it. And then we had this next level of iteration that said, hey, guess what? We can build this thing called an operating system that can efficiently use those resources: compute, storage, and memory, to provide you even more things, right? So fast forward that now to AI, and what we have in AI is this resource. AI is a resource. Underneath that it has other things it's doing. But in order for AI to work, it has to have memory. It has to have storage. It has to have compute. And that resource now, we're combining that resource with those other elements of memory and storage and GPUs and things like that. And we're packaging them up in platforms that we're creating that are these OS versions that say, hey, if you use my platform, these are all the things that it can offer you. You don't have to know how to use AI to do this work. You just have to use my platform and it can do the work for you. And that was the equivalent of Windows coming online and saying, you don't have to know how to go build an operating system that knows how to use compute and storage and memory. You just have to know how to use Windows. And if you get on Windows, you can write your own applications that can use all that stuff, right? So like the platform that CypherNova has built does that. It's a platform that uses AI. You don't have to know anything about AI. You just have to know how to use the platform, and you can use all the great things about AI, storage, and
What's the
compute.
name of that platform?
CypherNova.
CypherNova.
And so that's the era that we're in right now. That's what OpenAI is doing. That's what Google's doing with Gemini. That's what Claude is doing with Anthropic, Perplexity. They're building platforms that are using these resources and making it easier for people to start using AI without having to know how to use AI. And with that comes the security part, the risk. Just like when operating systems came online, we were all caught up in using these resources and seeing what they can do and not thinking about the security implications associated with it. So if we're not thinking about platforms that are secure in how they use storage in GPUs and memory, then we're going to fall into the same problems that we had all the way back then. It'll just be bigger and badder.
Yeah. There's been only so many disruptive things that have happened that are similar to AI in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, you can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
But AI's,
AI is here to stay. We have to just embrace it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the most exciting thing that's happened in the last 10 years with technology, and it's the most scary thing that's going to happen probably in the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Can't get the good stuff without some scary stuff.
Not in our world anyway, not in cybersecurity.
That's right. All right. So kind of getting to the end of this segment, but I got one more good question that I want to ask. And it is, how do you stay current with the resources and community or habits that you do, and with the changing pace of this field? How do you stay current?
How do I stay current? I told you from the beginning that I love cybersecurity because it's so innovative, right? I learned from community like ISACA, WiCyS, CSA, podcasts like yours, this one, and also by teaching and hosting bootcamp, because when you teach others, you are forced to stay current.
Yep.
And then also conferences. I love to go to ISA every year. This is how I stay current. How do you guys stay current?
Exactly the same for me is teaching. Obviously, through this podcast is one way. We do a lot of webinars where we're asked to present on certain topics, like the one we did earlier this week. It forces you to over prepare because you want to know your source content. You want to know. And if you get asked questions related to what you're presenting on, you want to be prepared to answer those questions. So I feel like because of that, and because of the certifications forcing the CPEs and forcing that extra level of community and learning, it's easy to stay plugged in and to stay current. You have to choose not to, in my opinion. So for me,
I kind of feel like we're fortunate.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we're fortunate with that, Kevin, because we do the podcast, because of our connections, we're part of a private group that has a number of very high profiled white hat hackers in it.
Wow.
And the communications that happen on a daily basis from all of these individuals on things that they're working on or focusing on or working through or trying to solve, those are things that continue to feed your brain in thinking and understanding and evaluating and learning. And a good example, there was a conversation going on yesterday about the CIA's stopping of the cell phone SIM bank attack that happened in New York City this last week
I did not
with the
heard of
UN.
that.
And there was a conversation going on around how that SIM bank works and the potential possibilities of that and implications of that, leading to things like, hey, everyone's talking about this being a denial of service attack. So there was 3 sites, I think, or 4 sites within 35 miles of the UN in New York, where the meetings were going on in New York, that had these large SIM bank farms where they could propagate out cell phone calls and text message calls on the cellular network. And the conversation went to what could have been an MO would have been to do a DDoS attack on the 911 system. So all the emergency services programs were not available because they couldn't get calls, and then turn around and do swatting attacks that would require, so someone calling in a bomb threat or a active shooter and doing all of these calls in that same area that the 911 personnel couldn't respond to because they couldn't communicate on the cellular system, and creating mass chaos. That's what it would have resulted in. And so you're hearing concepts that you're learning from. You're like, oh my gosh, I get that. That's exactly, I could see how that could roll. So what's behind the technology? And then it leads you to start investigating and learning and understanding the technology and how the technology works. Those are the things that I, as I was saying to Kevin, I feel like we're fortunate in what we do to be a part of, to have that communication and understand at that level, and have those connections to be able to dig in and understand and learn all the possibilities that maybe the normal practitioner might not have access to. Or when we prepare for a show and we do, to Kevin's point, research on the background of the person that we're interviewing, we end up learning some things. We had a guest on the show that was talking about cyber attacks, biometric cyber attacks.
Wow.
Or not biometric, but bio cyber attacks, where in some countries there could or could not be the potential of infecting people with a small controllable mechanical mosquito,
flying drone, baby drone
mosquito that'll just has this infection,
it's carrying a virus,
attack people, impact people, right? That may or may not be something that's happening, right? But they're sharing these things that we're like, holy cow.
In other words, Gaelle, that may be something that's happening. And I'm shaking my head knowing that that's something that's happening. So we need to be mindful of it. It's, we don't want to live in fear, but the truth is the technology is out there to do incredible things, both on the good side and on the bad side. And that's the scary part about it. The technology is there. And that's frightening to me, is to know that if we had an enemy out there that said, you know what, I need to wipe out the existence of that entire nation, it's not going to be that hard to do. If somebody's willing to pull that trigger, it wouldn't be hard.
Right.
Sure.
All right. Well, as we get close to wrapping up here, I guess I would want to ask you if you could leave the listeners that have listened to this episode today with one actionable insight item. What would you leave them with?
back on doing my CISS exam, I'm thinking, what actionable insights? Start now. Start where you are. Don't wait for the perfect budget or the perfect team. Pick one thing you can improve this quarter and build the momentum.
Mm-hmm. So address the low-hanging fruit. If you're already a practitioner, address that low-hanging fruit. Do something,
Yeah.
even if you don't have the money to do it, because not everything takes money, and that's a good point.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's jump to close out this segment and take a break, and we'll come back and wrap everything up.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Alacronet is a value-added reseller that provides cybersecurity-specific security solutions, services, and staffing. We are an agnostic security partner, which allows us to present multiple options for each security need. Our catalog of services encompasses a range of security solutions, penetration tests, and staffing options. With our approach, we can bring the best options and price points forward to increase your security posture and prevent vulnerabilities. Alacronet is constantly adding new partners to meet the challenges of an ever-changing security landscape. As security experts, we know how to find security talent. Our entire organization is focused on cybersecurity, from leadership to sales team to technical staff and hiring staff. For more information on our vast list of solutions or services, please give us a call or visit our website at www.alacronet.com. We look forward to growing with your business.
All right, welcome back, guys. So we're at the end of this episode. We just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. And Gaelle, I just have one quick question for you as we wrap this up. So when we think about what you can lead the audience with, what's one thing you wish business leaders outside of cybersecurity understood better?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so when you're looking at business leaders in an organization that aren't participating in the cybersecurity in cybersecurity roles, but they have to communicate with cybersecurity professionals, what's one thing you wish they understood better?
That cybersecurity is a business enabler, is not an IT problem. If they can align security with business goals, they will create trust, resilience, and even competitive advantages.
That's good. Very true. The more we can align with the business leaders outside of IT and align IT with the goals of the business, the better off we are. And that's one of the catalysts to completely architecting a good framework. Your framework has to align with your business goals. It has to align with your risk appetite. It has to align with your budget. It has to align with your overall business strategy. And if it doesn't, it's going to fail. And
Yes.
I'm a big proponent to getting buy-in from your board, being involved with your board, explaining to the board what you're doing, because the board will ask the hard questions. Hey, do you have the resources do you need? Do you have the budget that you need? Are there any concerns that you have that we should be aware of that have not been addressed? Those kind of questions are hard to ask. They're harder to answer. But what they do is they get things done. And if your executives are behind you to support you, regardless of where you are in your journey to get your cyber program in place, you're going to succeed. Because at the end of the day, you need them to help you enforce it. No matter how much you could have the biggest budget in the world, but if they're not behind you, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's good. I like it. Gaelle, where can our listeners link up with you? Or I assume the best place to reach you is LinkedIn, or where would you prefer they reach out to you if they want to get in touch?
Yes, connect with me on LinkedIn at Gaelle Koanda. I share insight on cybersecurity, leadership, and building bridge between communities globally. So follow me on LinkedIn, Gaelle Koanda.
Awesome. Well, and
Awesome.
Congratulations again on the SANS Difference Maker Award finalist.
Finally.
That is so cool. That's an amazing accomplishment. And it just goes to show the contributions you're making to the industry and helping to try to grow our industry. We appreciate that. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for everything that you're doing. Thank you so much
for having me on your podcast. It's truly an honor.
Well, absolutely. We had a great time talking with you.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to sign off. So we will see you guys next time.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Till next time. Cheers.
Thank you for watching our latest episode of the Cyber Distortion Podcast. We only grow with your support. The best thing you can do to help us grow is to subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, follow us on X, and tell just one friend about the show. You can find out more about us on the blog site at www.cyberdistortion.com. Our X handle is @DistortionCyber, and you can also listen to our audio-only versions of the episodes on most major streaming podcast platforms. Just search for Cyber Distortion Podcast. Until next time, take care. Cheers.